Welcome back to the Green Means Go channel. It's your host, me. Let's talk yesterday, and we'll move on to today. Looks like another great spot in terms of conditions and opportunities. Right? Springer, Schwarber, Jazz, Pete Alonso, Kauser, Olsen, and Kyle Stowers all hit yesterday. Had some good reads. But again, it's a matter of being able to pair these guys off if you're going to bet parlays and match them up correctly. It seems to be the hardest part. So last night, I was laying in bed before I fell asleep, again, thinking about this series and about Green Means Go and constantly trying to work towards a place where I am fully comfortable and feel like I'm providing you value. And I thought, okay, I'm calling guys. Right, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like I hit 7 guys yesterday. Is there a way I can go back through and look and see if I can identify, while I list out all my leans, spots that I should be focusing on? So the first thing I did was look by park rating. And I said, okay, if we take all the yellow rated games, how many wins, how many losses? Am I winning more when I rate them yellow, green, or red? Funny enough, and this is actually insane, no matter what color I rank it, I'm winning at about a 15% ratio, which means that if I need to break even, I need to be playing no less than 500 to 599. If every play I would have played in these were above this 550 number, the midpoint, 550, I would be profitable right now. But it's not the case, right? Because I play some down below here. So I think this is interesting in the fact that I think it's good to focus on good areas, but that isn't proving to be there isn't proving to be some sort of an advantage for me playing certain spots. So then I looked at odds ranges. And what I'm going to do maybe next is look at odds ranges within these colors and keep narrowing it down. But as a general blanket idea, don't ignore this column 0 to 99. We never played any there. So we have 100 to 199 odds, 200 to 299 odds, all the way down to 2,000 odds. So when we look at this chart, both of these have very small sample sizes. 11 is not enough to draw a conclusion. I've only played 11 bets since we've started this preview style with all the color coding in this range. I've only played 71 in this range. Now we start to pick up the sample size. And if you'll see, we're pretty moderate from 400 to 900, like losing 2%, gaining 0.5%, losing 1, losing 0.2, right? We're really close to our break even number. And in some spots, we're right on that break even number. That's good. And so when I look at this, I see, okay, here we go. I've played 500 bets, my biggest sample size of over 1,000. And we are winning only 2% of those bets, and we need to be winning 6%. That is not good. And I know you guys have told me that for a while. Stop playing these long shots. You guys have said that. And I listened enough to know that you guys were not content with the product. And I had to figure out, based on the data, if you guys were right. And I think you guys are right, and I was wrong. So I am going to continue to make adjustments. Going forward, you will probably see significantly less long shots. I think we are going to have more success if we pick guys who are more likely to hit home runs. And I have been playing to maybe find guys that are a little shocking, a little valuable, things of that nature. So I think our sweet spot is probably focusing more in the 4 to 800 range. And we'll see how this goes. I have it set up to track now, so we'll provide things periodically. But again, if you are not comfortable with your betting, if you are bothered by certain aspects, I think it's worthwhile to try to figure out why that is. And so that's what I've done here. So we'll move forward. We are down 10 units on the year on official plays. And we'll see what happens. If you want to sign up for Novig, do it. Okay, let's talk today. This game's very early. We have a weird Sunday. Typically a lot of afternoon games, and the night ends at 7 o'clock for Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. There's a Sunday Night Baseball doubleheader on ESPN, 2 games tonight at that time slot, and then there's later games. So it honestly feels more like a Saturday than it does a Sunday. This game's at 11, which is in a few minutes, so I apologize. I don't love it anyway. Cedric Mullins and Ryan O'Hearn would be my leans. It looks like Atlanta should have some success, more success against Trevor Rogers, but they're not starting Ronald Acuna or Marcelo Ozuna, which feels bizarre. Right-handers against a lefty. I don't know if they're hurt. Haven't been paying attention to the Braves, but I find that odd. Game in Washington's likely a skip due to the pitching. Garrett Crochet is pitching. He's a lefty against Washington, which has a lot of lefties. Don't like their matchup at all. Ogasawara is pitching his debut, at least this season, for the Nationals, and I don't see a ton of guys who match up well except maybe Rafaela at 560, but I don't really love the number. Game in Philadelphia looks good, weather and park-wise, and we get to see Chase Burns try again. If you saw any of the news, Chase Burns came out against the Yankees and looked good for a few innings, and then the Yankees figured something out and started hitting him. Then last outing against Boston, in the first inning, he gave up like 8 hits and crazy amount of runs. They took him out after 1 inning, and it's because he was tipping his pitches. And the batters could tell by the way he was holding his glove and moving his leg if it was going to be a fastball or a slider. And you have to imagine that they have worked on that, and he's going to come out in a way that the staff knows he's not going to do that again. You wouldn't put a guy out there if he hasn't fixed those mechanics. I wouldn't think. But time will tell. Regardless, I do think it's a good spot for Philly. Ellie De La Cruz, TJ Friedel, Bryce Harper, and Kyle Schwarber would be my leans. Game in Toronto. Toronto continues to be hot. They continue to swing hard, and George Springer continues to be sort of the catalyst in that success. He hit another one yesterday, and his number was at 560. I don't mind Springer and Bichette today. I lean more Vlad and Alejandro Kirk in this one, Joe Adell and Zach Neto on the other side. Game in Cleveland. Riley Green, Winsel Perez, and Jose Ramirez. Detroit looks set up well in the top half of their lineup, could have some success. Skubal's pitching. He's been one of the best pitchers this season, so I don't see Cleveland having a lot of runs scored, especially since their offense has looked pretty poor lately. Perez has highlighted Green because I think there's value in that number. We're going to talk about that at the end of this video when we do my official plays. Again, to try to help you guys narrow some of this information down more. The game in New York is tough because the conditions look good, but the pitching is either scary or uncertain. Max Fried is pitching for New York. It doesn't look like too many Mets line up well against him, and we can't tell either who the Mets are pitching or it's a guy with no data. I think you would want to look at right-handed batters for New York Yankees, but I'm not going to give you much there. You're on your own. Game in Miami's a full fade. Brandon Woodruff makes his start today after not pitching for a long time. Edward Cabrera, I just don't see a lot of homers in this one. I'm staying off. Game in Minnesota, there's some fringe options, but there's nothing special. Don't see a ton of value. Maybe Lowe, Lewis, and Wallner, but Lewis may not even start, so probably stay off that one as well. Colorado looks good park-wise, but again, 2 teams that don't hit home runs. Miguel Vargas, Andrew Benintendi, Thiago Estrada, 940 is a good price, and Mickey Moniak at 450. Bobby Witt Jr. at 520, Vinny Pasquantino, Ketel Marte, and Josh Naylor. I think the prices in this one are good. I lean more Arizona again. Yesterday, I said I like their bats. I said I think they line up well. I said I think they have an advantage. They won 7-1. Of course, I took the over in that game. The over was 9. It ended at 8. That's what happens. You hate when you make a read correct and you still lose a bet. I don't know how to explain it, but it's one of the worst feelings. Bobby Witt Jr. I think has some value at that number at 520. Last few games of the night, game in Seattle, Paul Skeens against George Kirby. While obviously Paul Skeens has been solid, Cal Raleigh and Dominic Canzone, I think, pose a little bit of value at their numbers, and we know these guys have been hot. Brian Reynolds and O'Neill Cruz are fine for the other side. Game in LA, Isak Paredes at 410, although I do not love the full outlook for Houston today. For LA, yes, you see it. Shohei Ohtani at 170, Teoscar Hernandez at 350. Game in Chicago, there's a boost tonight on FanDuel that is likely going to see some of my action and attention. We have to wait for lineups to come out. Contreras at 630, I think, is a good price. Pozo came in yesterday and hit one as a pinch hitter. He's one of the only guys on this team in the last month who's providing any sort of power to the ball, looking at the data, so especially against lefties. So, I don't think this is a good spot for St. Louis in total. Cubs, Ian Happ at 525, I like on Camby. Reese McGuire if he starts, might be interesting. Seiya Suzuki, and I'm going to refer to him as Mush from now on. That's Michael Bush combined into Mush. It also fits. It's a double entendre because when I played him for 3 straight days, he didn't hit one, and he's hit 4 since I've laid off of him in 2 days. What? I mean, what is that about? That's not fun. I'm going to ride a guy for 3 days, and then I'm going to hop off, and he's going to go crazy. Mush. I'm a mush. Michael Bush. Play him if you want. I might. I might not. Game in San Diego. Corey Seager, Adolis Garcia, Jack Samiro, and Gavin Sheets all look fine. It's about as average gets. Probably won't see much of my dollars. And then finally, the game in Oakland. Willie Adames, Rafael Devers, Brent Rooker, and Lawrence Butler didn't get a ton of home runs yesterday, I don't think. Maybe we did towards the later half. I actually forget. Don't quote me on that. I think it looks good again today, and the pitching isn't super stellar. Hayden Birdsong is one of San Francisco's weaker pitchers. So we'll look there for some options. Okay, so here's what I want to look at. We're going to talk about value spots and matchup spots, and then I'll let you come to your own conclusions. Just pure value. Guys that I think match up well, but also provide a higher number than I think is fair, but are maybe less likely to hit, are the 5 guys listed here. Friedel, Perez, Estrada, Witt, and Canzone. Not only do I like their matchup, I think they're providing a good number for you, even though they are a little bit of long shots. Now, matchup-wise, sort of chalk, ignoring the number in front or behind their name, just who is set up really well today from a slate and handicapping perspective. Schwarber, Green, Marte, Ohtani, Happ, and Devers. So, I get the sense that you guys like the analysis. You don't love to tail my plays. There's been some stirrings of give us a parlay to tail every day. Would I make a 6-leg home run parlay? Probably not. If you want to do this, a buck, maybe you want to put a buck on it, go for it. Maybe slim down 1 or 2 of these guys, take them out. Maybe only play 4 of these that you like. I don't know. Do whatever you want. But when I look at the value, this is who I see in terms of good price, decent matchup, could go yard, but I think you're getting a good number. I'm not even looking at the number. These are just guys I think that are going to hit home runs or match up really well to hit home runs today. And I will tell you that Devers' number is good, Happ's number is good, and I think Marte's number is good. Schwarber at 250, I don't like. Green at 375, I don't like. Ohtani at 175, I don't like. But I like them on those numbers. So there you go. If you want to just if you want to do a mega mashup, Marte, Happ, and Devers. Have a good night, day. Love you guys. See you tomorrow.